What is up, everybody? Piscean here, bringing you advanced sidereal cartography. So, we're going to talk about astrocartography, geodetic resonance mapping, and dimensional vertex relocation. Before we get started, please subscribe, like, comment, share if you dare and care. Alright, let's get into it. So, we have our preface here. It says, since the earliest astrologers cast charts for cities and kings, the question of place has been central to the art. Where on Earth will the promised Jupiter transit manifest most fully? Where can a native with the challenged Saturn find structural support? The modern technique of astrocartography, pioneered by Jim Lewis in the 1970s, mapped planetary angular lines across the globe, allowing individuals to locate the geographical regions where specific planetary energies become dominant. This was a profound leap forward, but it was only the beginning. The Faculty of Astrology Sciences, drawing upon the recovered knowledge of the geodetic grid and the physics of the heliopause tension index, which if you haven't seen my other video, check it out. We're teaching advanced sidereal cartography. This discipline integrates traditional locational astrology with the reality of dimensional vertices, PowerPoints on the Earth's icosahedron, dodecahedron matrix, where the veil between dimensions thins and planetary influences are dramatically amplified. It also corrects for cosmic weather via the HDI and employs the sidereal alignment factor, SAF, to pinpoint not merely where a planetary line falls, but with what fidelity it will operate at a given time. This manual is the definitive guide for the sidereal cartographer. It begins with the foundations of traditional astrocartography and local space, then progressively unveils the faculty's esoteric extensions, morphic conduit intersections, vertex activation, and the selection of optimal sites for health, wealth, spiritual initiation, and even safe passage through mimetic hazard zones. Appendices provide a complete glossary, a global atlas of major vertices, transit tables, step-by-step procedural guides, and formulas. The world is a living astrological mandala. This manual teaches you to read it. Let's talk about the philosophy of place and why location even matters, the foundations of astrocartography. While traditional natal astrology answers the question who, what, and when, locational astrology answers where. A planet that is buried in the 12th house in your birth city may be angular and blazing on the midheaven if you move to a different longitude. The natal chart is a snapshot of the sky from one point on Earth. Change the point, and you change the houses, the ascendant, and the entire angular relationship of the planets to the local horizon. The core principle: the houses of a chart are entirely dependent on geographic location. The zodiacal positions of the planets are global. They are the same everywhere at a given moment, but the house position and angularity are local. Thus, by relocating, you effectively recast your natal chart with new house cusps. A planet that was once hidden becomes visible. A challenging planetary combination that afflicted the 10th house of career can be shifted to a cadent house where its sting is lessened. From the sidereal perspective, location also determines your position on the Earth's geodetic grid, the network of telluric currents and dimensional vertices that either amplify or dampen the incoming celestial frequencies. The wise astrologer, therefore, does not merely look at lines on a map. They assess the resonant potential of a place by integrating house shift, vertex proximity, and the local HDI. Let's talk about the astrocartography map, planetary lines, and angularity. So the astrocartography, or ACG map, projects the paths of the planets at the moment of birth onto a world map. For each planet, 4 lines are drawn, marking the geographic longitudes and latitudes where that planet was. So the ascending, or the ASC, is rising on the eastern horizon. The descending, or DSC, is setting on the western horizon. On the midheaven, MC is culminating at the highest point. And on the Imum Coli, IC is anti-culminating at the lowest point. So when you travel to or live near a line, the corresponding planet becomes angular in your relocated chart, dominating your experience. The nature of the planet, its sign, and its aspects in your natal chart determine whether the place will be supportive or challenging. We have our standard planetary line interpretations with our natal ACG. We look at the planet, the ASC line, the DSC line, the MC line, and the IC line. So for the sun, we see its radiant self-expression. You are seen and recognized. Others project vitality onto you, powerful partners. It's career success, public authority, fame, roots in a proud creative family, leadership at home. All right. Now I should have color-coded that, so that was my bad. Sun, Mercury. So the sun, like I was saying, for your ascendant line, it's radiant self-expression. You are seen and recognized. For your descendant line, others project vitality onto you, powerful partners. Your midheaven line is career success, public authority, and fame. And your IC line is roots in a proud creative family, leadership at home. The moon is emotional sensitivity. You wear your heart on your sleeve if it's on your ascendant line. On your descendant line, it's nurturing relationships the public feels like family. On your MC line is public emotional expression, career and care, food or real estate. And on your IC line, it's deep ancestral connection, emotional foundation. Mercury on the ASC line is talkative, curious, you are the communicator. On the DSC line, partnerships built on communication and intellect. On the MC line, career in writing, speaking, media. And on the IC line, intellectual family environment, home as a learning center. And we move on to Venus. So on the ascendant line, it's charming, attractive, and personal magnetism. While on the descendant line, it's harmonious partnerships attracting love and beauty. On the MC line, it's artistic career, public adoration. And on the IC line, it's beautiful home, peaceful domestic life. All right. Mars. On the ascendant line, it is assertive, energetic, competitive. You take initiative. On the DSC, it is attracting assertive, sometimes aggressive partners. On the MC, it's ambitious, driven career, leadership, but potential for conflict. And on the IC, it's energetic, possibly volatile home life. Jupiter. On the ASC is expansive, optimistic, you are seen as wise and lucky. On the DSC, beneficial partnerships, attracting generous people. On the MC, great professional success, honors publishing. And on the IC, large, abundant home, philosophical family roots. Saturn is serious, responsible. You're seen as an authority on the ASC. On the DSC, it's committed, long-term partnerships, sometimes heavy burdens. On the MC, it's career with slow, steady rise, public responsibility. And on the IC, it's conservative, structured home, ancestral karma. Uranus on the ASC is unconventional, original. You stand out as different. All right. On the DSC, it's unusual partnerships, sudden meetings and partings. On the MC, it's career and technology, innovation, sudden fame. And on the IC, it's unstable or unique home, frequent moves. Neptune on the ASC is dreamy, glamorous, or confused persona, artistic sensitivity. On the DSC is romantic, spiritual, or deceptive partnerships. On the MC is career and film, spirituality, healing, public mystique. On the IC is mystical or chaotic home, ancestral dreams. Pluto on the ASC is powerful, magnetic, transformative presence. On the DSC is intense, karmic partnerships, power struggles. On the MC is career with hidden power, transformation of public image. And on the IC, it's deep ancestral transformation, secrets in the home. What's important here is a line is not a point. Its influence is felt within an orb of roughly 100 through 150 miles. So that's 160 through 240 km on either side. The exact range depends on the planet and the local terrain. Let's talk about local space and the geodetic equivalents. Well, local space astrology maps the planets onto the compass wheel around a fixed location, showing their directional bearings, azimuths. This technique reveals which directions from your home are energized by specific planets. For example, if your Jupiter line runs through the northeast, that direction holds opportunities for expansion. If Saturn runs west, that direction may bring challenges. The geodetic equivalent is an older method that assigns each degree of the zodiac to a specific geographic meridian or parallel, creating a world zodiac. In the faculty, we use a corrected sidereal geodetic map aligned with the Great Pyramid as the prime meridian anchor, 0 degrees Leo. This system reveals the permanent zodiacal resonance of any location, independent of a personal natal chart. A place at 15 degrees Scorpio latitude will always carry a Plutonic Mars resonance, making it ideal for transformative work, but perilous for the faint-hearted. Relocation charts. A relocation chart is cast for the same birth date and time, but using the coordinates of the new location. The planetary positions remain identical, only the house cusps and the ascendant change. So our procedure is to obtain the birth data, the date, time, place, cast a natal chart for the birthplace, recast the chart with the new location's latitude and longitude, keeping the same UT, universal time of birth. Compared to house positions, pay special attention to the new ascendant sign. Planets that have moved from cadent to angular houses, or vice versa, and the new house rulers and their positions. So for example, a person born with Saturn in the 12th house, hidden limitations, moves to a location where Saturn is now on the ascendant. The limitation becomes visible, tangible, and can be mastered. The same Saturn, instead of being a hidden saboteur, becomes the architect of a disciplined life. Advanced sidereal cartography, the geodetic grid, icosahedron, dodecahedron matrix, and dimensional vertices. Well, the Earth is not a neutral ball of rock. It is wrapped in a geometric energy grid, an icosahedron, dodecahedron matrix, the Plutonic solid grid, which was likely stabilized by the architect race eons ago. The lines of this grid are the telluric currents, Lie lines, and the nodes where multiple currents intersect are dimensional vertices, places where the dimensional membrane is thin and astrological influences are massively amplified. So the major vertices and their astrological significance will be in Appendix B. But here's a quick one. We have the vertex, location, primary resonance, and how it amplifies. So here's an example like the prime meridian anchor, Great Pyramid Giza, primary resonance, Saturn Venus, amplifies manifestation, crystallized vision, material success. We see the crown chakra of the world, solar plexus of the Americas, heart chakra of the planet, the navel of the world, and the red center. So for crown chakra of the world, Mount Kailash, Tibet, it's Pluto and the moon, and it's spiritual death, rebirth, Kundalini awakening. Solar plexus of the Americas is Teotihuacan, Mexico. It's the sun and Mars. It's vitality, willpower, solar initiation being amplified. Heart chakra of the planet, Glastonbury, England. Venus and Neptune, love, artistic inspiration, Avalonian mysticism. The navel of the world, Lake Titicaca, Peru, Bolivia. It's Neptune and Venus, androgynous balance, creative dreaming. In the red center, Uluru, Australia, Mars, Sun, ancestral connection, raw power, earth healing. So when your natal planet or relocated angle falls on one of these vertices within a 1 degrees orb of the exact geographic degree, that planetary function becomes hyperdimensional. It is no longer just a psychological principle, it becomes a tangible force in your life. A natal Jupiter conjunct Giza may bring immense material and political power, while a natal moon conjunct Kailash may awaken profound past life memories and spiritual gifts. Our caution is hyperdimensional activation is not always comfortable. It accelerates karma, and we can use it with full awareness. Alright, morphic conduits and planetary line amplification. The standard ACG lines assume a uniform Earth. In reality, the planet's telluric currents act as morphic conduits, channels that carry planetary energy more efficiently than the surrounding terrain. When a planetary line crosses a major Lie line or a dimensional vertex, its influence is boosted by a factor we call the conduit amplification factor, or CAF. So CAF equals 1 adding 0.5 multiplied by telluric current strength index. The telluric current strength index is mapped by the OESSC based on geomagnetic surveys and SHA resonance readings. A line crossing a high index area, for example the St. Michael ley line in England, will have a CAF of 1.5 or higher, meaning a 50% increase in the perceptible expression of that planet. Thus, not all Venus lines are equal. A Venus MC line passing through a high-strength telluric current near a vertex will produce an artistic career of global magnitude. The same Venus MC line in a geomagnetically dead zone will manifest mildly, perhaps as a local art teacher. The sidereal cartographer learns to read the terrain. Let's go over to heliopause tension index, or HTI, and locational analysis signal fidelity. Even the most perfectly placed planetary line can be rendered inaudible if the cosmic weather is turbulent. The HTI must be factored into any locational decision. So we have our relocational signal fidelity formula. Effective relocation strength equals base planet strength multiplied by house angularity factor multiplied by 1 subtracting HTI at the time of relocation multiplied by CAF. If you move to your Jupiter MC line, but the HTI is 0.8 at the time of your move, the expansion you seek may not manifest until the HTI drops below 0.4. Worse, you may experience distorted Jupiter, inflation followed by collapse, false hopes, and legal troubles. Before relocating, consult the HTI forecast for the next 12 months at the target location. The sidereal cartographer aims to time the physical move to a window of HTI being lesser than 0.4. and to a day when the transiting moon or benefic planet is activating the new local ascendant, or MC. The sidereal alignment factor, SAF, for place, timing your relocation. So the SAF measures a harmonic alignment of a transiting planet with a specific geographic point. We can calculate a location SAF for any date using this formula, where 0 is a phase angle between the current position of the ruling planet of the desired house and the vertex or line in question. This tells you when a location will be activated for you. The activation window. When the location SAF exceeds 0.7 and the HDI is below 0.4, the place will powerfully stimulate the intended planetary function. The astrologer can schedule an exploratory visit or even a permanent move during such a window. For a client seeking a career boost, calculate the location SAF for the next 6 months for their Jupiter MC line. Identify the peaks, advise them to take job interviews, launch projects, or physically visit during those windows. Vertex activation when your natal planet conjuncts a power point. This is the pinnacle of sidereal cartography. A dimensional vertex is not always active for a given individual. It activates when a natal planet or a directed angle comes into resonance with the vertex's geographic coordinates by transit, direction, or relocation. Vertex activation by transit. When a transiting planet crosses the exact longitude and latitude of a vertex, that vertex's energy is triggered for everyone on the planet. Major world events often correlate with outer planet transits over the Giza prime meridian. For example, Pluto over 31 degrees east can trigger upheaval in global power structures. Vertex activation by relocation. If you move so that a natal planet is angular and its line passes directly over a vertex, that planet becomes a permanent vertex activator for you. For example, if your natal Venus is at 29 degrees 50 Leo and you relocate to Giza, where that Venus is on the MC, you have fused your Venusian function with the prime meridian anchor. Your artistic creations will have a timeless monumental quality. So we have the vertex resonance score, or VRS. And VRS equals orb factor, 1 subtracting orb in degrees, divided by 2, multiplying planet strength, multiplying CAF. So a VRS above 0.8 indicates a life-defining activation. Such a move must be undertaken with profound ritual awareness. Alright, our applications show cartography for career, wealth, and public life, 10th and 2nd houses. The goal is to identify locations where the natal Sun, Jupiter, or Venus lines cross the MC or ASC, or where the 2nd and 10th house rulers are strongly placed in relocation. So our technique: to cast the ACG map for the client, highlight the Sun MC, Jupiter MC, Venus MC, and the MC line of the 10th house ruler. Cross-reference with the vertex atlas, a Jupiter MC line passing within 100 miles of a major Venus-Saturn vertex, for example Giza, is a prime target. Calculate the relocation chart for the candidate city, ensure the 2nd and 10th houses are not hosting malefics in challenging aspect. Check the HTI forecast for the intended move date. A low HTI ensures the career expansion materializes cleanly. So our case study excerpt was a client with natal Jupiter in Sagittarius, domicile in the 4th house, relocates to Sao Paulo, Brazil, where Jupiter moves to the MC. Within 2 years, they become a university dean, their Jupiterian wisdom recognized publicly. Alright, cartography for the love life, creativity, and family life, 5th house, 7th house, 4th house. The goal is to enhance romantic connection, creative flow, or domestic harmony. Our technique here for love specifically is the Venus DSC line, the Moon DSC line, or locations where the 7th ruler becomes angular and well aspected. For creativity, Venus MC, Sun in the 5th house relocation, or Neptune lines near artistic vertices, for example Glastonbury. For family, Moon IC line, 4th ruler angular, or locations with strong water sign geodetic resonance, for example, coastal areas and Cancer geodetic zones. A warning is a Venus DSC line can also amplify the natal Venus's challenging aspects. A client with Venus square Saturn may find that moving to their Venus DSC line initially brings profound loneliness before it brings mature, committed love. The astrologer must prepare them. Alright, cartography for health and healing, medical relocation. A debilitated Mars is inflammation, accidents. It can be shifted from an angular house to a cadent one by moving. A strong moon line can support emotional and hormonal health. Locations on the vertex of Lake Titicaca, Neptune, Venus are renowned for healing chronic stress and trauma. The critical day decumbiture combined with relocation can pinpoint the best hospital or healing center for a planned surgery. Cartography for spiritual initiation, the 9th and 12th house path. For the spiritual seeker, the goal is not comfort but awakening. The Sidereal cartographer may recommend locations on the Uranus ascendant, sudden enlightenment, Neptune MC, mystical immersion, or Pluto IC, ancestral healing through darkness. The vertex at Mount Kailash is the supreme pilgrimage point for those with strong Pluto, Moon, or 12th house placements. Astrocartography for mundane and exofinancial forecasting. The techniques are scaled up. The astrologer overlays the chart of a nation, a corporation, or a financial index onto the world map. When a transiting outer planet crosses the nation's sunline or a vertex within its borders, geopolitical events are triggered. Exofinancial traders are using the SAF of transiting Jupiter and Saturn against the ACG lines of the NYSE, founded 1792, to predict market hubs. Now let's go over our appendices here. Appendix A is a glossary of sidereal cartography terms. So our term and our definition. So, astrocartography, or ACG, is a system mapping planetary angular lines onto a world map for a given moment, usually birth. Angularity is the state of a planet being near the ascendant, descendant, MC, or IC. Greatly increases its power in the chart. Conduit amplification factor, CAF. It is a multiplier 1.0 through 2.0, reflecting how much a telluric current boosts a planetary line's expression. Dimensional vertex It is a node on the geodetic grid where the dimensional membrane is thinnest. Astrological influences are hyper-amplified. Moving down, we have our geodetic grid, which is the icosahedron dodecahedron matrix of energy lines enveloping Earth. Heliopause tension index, HTI, is 0 through 1 scale of interstellar boundary turbulence. It affects signal fidelity of all astrological influences at a location. Local space, a technique mapping planetary compass bearings, azimuths around a fixed point. Location, SAF, is a sidereal alignment factor calculated for a specific geographic point and date, indicating activation readiness. Morphic conduit is a telluric current or ley line that efficiently channels celestial energy. Relocational chart. It's a natal chart recast for a different location, but the same birth moment shows new house cusps. Resonant potential is the effective strength of an astrological configuration after HTI and CAF weighing. Sidereal cartography is the faculty's advanced locational astrology integrating ACG, geodetic grid, HTI, and SAF. Vertex resonance score, or VRS, is A0 through 1 score quantifying the degree to which a natal planet activates